Thomas, who is a very talented player, wants to be a neonatal nurse, and I think that's just a very worthy profession to go into.
Elsa Lemila and Thomas, the opening tip, controlled by the Buckeyes. Finishing a tie for 4th place in the Big Ten. And tested throughout the course of this season with a difficult non-conference slate. Cambridge can beat you in so many different ways. Her sister Kennedy also in the starting 5, and a 3-second violation turns it over.
Well, I'm impressed with Howard's defense right there. A little bit of a sagging defense, so it closed down these driving lanes for Jelani Cambridge to get into.
Full court trapping pressure by the Buckeyes. It's a 2-2-1 press that we will see early and often. And Ty Grace told us that she mentioned to her team, we have to be reliable and available trying to break that pressure.
Yeah, you have to keep your composure and be really solid with your vision and where the openings are, because this is chaos that Ohio State brings in this press.
Ariella Hennigan runs the point. MEAC Rookie of the Year. Now a touch for Thomas. Step back elbow, Jay, high, Archer drops.
That was impressive. That was over 6'6". Lemila.
Let's take a look at today's starting lineups, brought to you by Capital One. For the Buckeyes, Chance Gray, Kennedy Cambridge, her sister Jelani. Second leading scorer in the Big Ten, Lemila and Ava Watson. Rounded out for the Buckeyes. 26-7 this year. Off the bounce pass, Thomas nearly the steal. Lemila, chance for 3.
Really nice patience by Ohio State right there. And that looked like a little bit of a zone. And saw Howard working on a little bit of a matchup zone, but they will run with cutters through the lane. So it can be confusing, but Lemila is strong on the finish right there.
First foul on Hemingway. Finland native. And the sophomore drains the free throw. Let's take a look at the lineups on the floor, brought to you by Capital One. Hennigan Stewart, Hemingway, Thomas, the MEAC Player of the Year, Niall Miller, outstanding defender who has stuck with this Howard program, now a senior out of Woodbury, New Jersey. Off the bounce again, the elbow jumper, that's the sweet spot, and Hennigan connects.
Well, Howard couldn't be more pleased with how they're shooting the ball right now, because coming here, NCAA first-round game on a home court of Ohio State, and to knock down your first 2 looks, Roy, that's big time.
Interesting day yesterday in our first 16 games that we saw. All the favorites, the higher seeds, ended up winning, which means today is the day you expect to see some upsets. Coach, that's how these tournaments work. You get stability day 1, chaos day 2. Top of the key, Thomas now.
It was a good look for Thomas right there. You got to take those shots when they open up from the 3.
And Cambridge was fouled on the mid-range. And 2 free throws coming for Kennedy Cambridge.
Well, that's not who you want to draw that first foul on as far as Howard is concerned, because Nia Thomas needs to be in the game. Was that on? I thought that was on Thomas. I think it was on Niall instead, but yeah.
One more free throw for Cambridge, 60% at the line this year for the Kentucky transfer. And part of the All Big Ten defensive team, 128 steals on her resume this season, in between Kennedy and Jelani, with just a dynamic duo that can beat you in so many different ways.
Well, I like how Kennedy has bought into her being the defensive stopper for Ohio State. Not a lot of, it's hard to get kids to buy into that particular role. She's done a phenomenal job.
Howard able to beat the pressure. They'll set up the offense with 20 seconds on the clock.
You see him getting the ball in the middle of the floor to beat that pressure. They've done that twice in a row now, and it definitely opens up opportunities.
Hennigan was ready to shoot, instead drives off the glass, gets it back. No whistle. It'll stay on this end, out of bounds.
It's going to be hard to draw fouls down there for Howard. A good job of getting on the O boards, though. They've got to give themselves those extra opportunities like that.
Zoe Stewart, baseline, thought about it. In the paint, Stewart, in and out. Cambridge will push the pace. This is what Kevin McGuff wants. We'll work it inside out. Kennedy Cambridge. That's a three.
You see how they share the ball, Roy? The ball comes out, the shots miss, it comes out, they move it. I'm really impressed with how Ohio State will make extra passes to get the best shot on the floor.
What was it like for you as a coach, game one in the NCAA tournament, just trying to make sure those early game jitters were not a part of the game plan?
Well, you have to know they're going to be there. So you have to give your team 6 or 7 possessions to kind of work their way through those jitters. But it seems like to me that Howard worked their way through it pretty quick because they came down and got 2 good looks and nailed them.
Another mid-range jumper, this time from Zoe Stewart. 2-point game just underway in Columbus. Game one of day 2. Against the zone, Cambridge, the crossover, and poked away. The whistle was there. And now Miller, if that's her, that is number 2.
Yeah, Kennedy Cambridge, I was talking about her being a role player at the defensive stopper, and she accepted that role. But how about her stepping out and knocking down threes also? It's not that she's just a defender. She can play that offensive end also.
Second foul on Miller. She checks out. Watson for 3, no. And Bison able to collect it. That was Hennigan, the point guard. April Edwards just checked in for Niall Miller, and she'll run the show. But Howard has been very crisp in its early approach. Here's Thomas. Thomas also a Kentucky transfer. MEAC Player of the Year ties it up.
Well, that's nice. That's what I was talking about earlier. Her versatility. She plays off the bounce. She can play back to the basket, and it really creates problems for defense. But she's quicker than Kylie Kitts is, so off the bounce was a really good move by her.
Jelani Cambridge, the runner, high off the glass, no. Rebounded by Stewart. A good start by Howard.
It kind of feels like Ohio State has a little more of the jitters than Howard does. You know, you come in here, hey, we've got nothing to lose if we're the Howard Bison right now. We can play a little freer.
Edwards, contact and a whistle. And a blocking foul called against the Buckeyes.
Zania Thomas for the Howard Bison, really nice. I said 6'2", long, lanky, but can play off the bounce. That's a really nice move with the left-hand finish right there.
Howard did play a tough schedule in the non-conference, securing wins against Monmouth, William and Mary, St. Bonaventure, and also the same Fairfield team that's a part of this bracket here in Columbus that we'll see later today against Notre Dame, a team that won the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, the MAC, in convincing fashion this year.
That's right. Showed resilience in that game. They were down by 15 and then came back and beat Fairfield. That was quite a task right there.
Cambridge on the way, out of bounds, off to the right, and that gets us to our first time out. So far, so good for upstart Howard. We are tied at 8. Party, and boy, what a season it has been for Ty Grace and the Bison. Zania Thomas, the MEAC Player of the Year. That victory against Fairfield that we talked about. More wins than any other season in program history, Coach.
It's been a great year for them, and what I've been really impressed with right now with Howard, they've been very confident. They've come in here just playing with no fear because they've handled this Ohio State press that has given opponents problems all year long. They've got 0 turnovers. And you wouldn't have thought that coming into the game because this press is daunting.
Stewart now with 4. And the held possession, the possession arrow favors Howard after Kylie Kitts just checked in. And the Bison with a 2-point lead in the midst of a 6-0 run.
Yeah, Ohio State needs to get this press really rolling. They need to create some turnovers right here. Chaos. We hear that word associated with this press. They've got to bring the chaos.
Head coach Kevin McGuff said we'd like that press to equate to about 13 to 14 points, forcing turnovers, and the first one forced right there.
There you go. That was some chaos. That's what it looks like. 10-second call in the backcourt.
Take a look at the turnovers forced this year, where it ranks nationally top 20 in that department, and also in points coming off those mistakes by the opposition.
You know, the other thing that press does, it wears teams out because you're constantly having to go against it. Now here you go. You got to see it again. Every time you come up the floor after Ohio State scores, you're going to have to go against this press.
Work it to the middle of the court. Bynum Johnson dribbles it across the half-court line. Edwards already with 4. Howard has made a living. That mid-range jump shot. Selah Hemingway. Good look to Thomas. Inside and a chance for 3. What a start for the MEAC Player of the Year.
Oh, what a strong finish right there. She gets fouled on the shot by Kylie Kitts, but finishes the shot. It's so important to finish and get that and one, make it the three-point play, make it that three-point play. But good defense, no foul, and I'm telling you, Ohio State walled up right there nicely, but the pass gets through and Zanaya gets the finish.
Thomas off the mark at the free throw line, 72% this season. Here come the Buckeyes. 30th NCAA tournament appearance for Ohio State. 4th straight as a host. Eliminated in the second round a year ago by Tennessee. 2 years ago here in this arena by Duke. And a foul on Howard. So Edwards picks up her first.
Yeah, just grabbed her by the back once Jelani got by her. I don't think she meant to do that, but got kind of hooked up with her.
They should make it so that if you didn't mean to foul, it's actually not a foul. Wouldn't that be great?
I don't think so. I don't even want it to work like that.
Couple of substitutions. Kennedy Cambridge checks out. And on the floor, Bryn Martin, freshman out of Springboro High School here in Ohio. Lemila has her pocket pick. Bynum Johnson snuck in there.
Boy, great job of digging in by the wing off of Chance Gray.
Edwards rejected by Cambridge. Some confidence in the defense that time.
Love the defense by Jelani Cambridge right here. Does not foul. I mean, she just has great footwork right here. Gets the angle on the drive and the block. She's so quick, Jelani Cambridge, just incredibly quick player.
Did you say quicker than dirt?
Well, I did earlier.
Off the spin, Thomas defended by Lemila.
Now that open court play has to start coming into play for Ohio State. Just like that. Boy, Jelani Cambridge just gets it down. Nice little floater finish. Now here comes the press.
Tied at 12. 2.5 to go in our first quarter. Entertaining start in Columbus. You can feel the chaotic moment starting to build a little bit with that pressure.
A little more confidence by Ohio State right now, getting into more of a rhythm of what their game looks like.
Stewart thought about it, then hesitated. Marino just checked in, bumped underneath. Lemila is going to pick up her first.
So Jelani Cambridge shows us just why she's so electric. She has great handles with the ball, reads the floor quite nicely. You didn't see the defense like dive in on her and open up shooters from the outside, so she's a really good one-on-one finisher.
Just a sophomore, second leading scorer in the Big Ten. One more free throw coming. Every NCAA Women's Championship games on the networks of ESPN. First round action continues tonight with second round games on Sunday and Monday. For more information, go to NCAA.com. Your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Couple of free throws. Howard back in front. Under 2 to go in the first. When you want to have a chance to pull an upset, you have to start somewhere. It's been a nice start for Howard. And the response by Chance Gray, her first basket.
Now that's the player on the floor for Ohio State that you have to know where she is at all the time. She shoots over 40% from the 3. Cannot leave her open.
Wide open is Hemingway. Comes up short, poked out of bounds to Ohio State.
We see a bit of a breakdown in Howard's defense on this end of the floor because there's no way Chance Gray should ever be that wide open. That's a shooting drill 3 for her.
Now she had 23 against UCLA in the Big Ten tournament semifinals. She can go off at any point in time, nearly 15 points per game this season for Chance. Martin outside to Watson. Off the back iron, a fresh 20. Gray again connects.
team a lot of confidence if you're Ohio State. That three ball falling, it makes a huge difference.
6-0 run by OSU. Trapping pressure and a turnover. Momentum builds for the Buckeyes.
You know, offensive rebounding is so important for a team. And when you offensive rebound, kick that ball out quick because there's open shooters on the perimeter and none better than Chance Gray.
Buckeyes now 3 of 7 from behind the three-point arc. Big final 40 seconds of this first quarter. Gray again wide open. And Marino clears.
That was too good of a look, though. Howard has to clean up that defense and not allow her those kind of looks. There's another three-point shooter that's on the floor now, Tiana Todd, the transfer from Boston College, who had shot 45% from the three last year. Not shooting that number this year, but also stretches the floor for Ohio State.
Inside Marino with a pat, and free throws coming. Marino, the sophomore from the Bronx, transfer from Stony Brook, a couple of free throws moments ago, and the foul on Martin. That's her first.
You know, interesting how this game has gone, because Howard has played really well, but when you give up those three-point opportunities, the score can lengthen so quickly, and it hurts your confidence. So that's the one thing, that's really the only thing Howard has to clean up right now. We cannot allow Chance Gray, the three-point shooters, to be wide open on those shots.
Buckeyes have a chance for the last possession, so Cambridge back on the floor. And Marino now 3 of 3 at the line. So in our first day of the dance, where we did not see a single upset, an interesting start here. One possession game at the end of the first quarter. Cambridge gets it back. Look out. Full head of steam. Off glass.
That's that strong finish that Jelani Cambridge brings to you. It doesn't matter if there's contact or not. She has a
great start. The lead at 5 for the Buckeyes. Let's see how this second quarter begins. Nell Fortner, Roy Philpott, so glad you could join us. Game 1, day 2. Here the women's NCAA tournament. Open three from the corner, off the heel. Hemingway controls.
Interesting, Howard came out in that little bit of a matchup zone. It looks like a man, sometimes it feels like a man, but they go through with certain cutters. It'll mess up an offensive flow.
Stewart off the bounce, in and out. Cambridge controls. Well, Cambridge with those 4 points in the first quarter, 2 rebounds and 2 blocks. Watson top of the key, off the Hezzy. And an offensive foul. Oh, the first on Ava Watson.
As far as the Ohio State offense goes, I thought the ball movement was really good, great. But yeah, Ava Thompson goes in there and picks up that charge. The ball movement before that was really good. I thought she passed up a shot and took the drive instead.
Hennigan stepped in to absorb that contact on a bang-bang play in the paint that could have gone either way, Coach.
You're right.
We're just getting started. We'll make sure that we paint the picture in an appropriate way. 5-point game, starter second quarter. Inside Hemingway, no. And a foul on Thomas. After the rebound by Lemila.
Well, I know Hemingway's upset about that miss right there. She had a really good look at the rim and just couldn't get that thing to go down.
Winner of this game gets the winner of Notre Dame and Fairfield. Our second game today on ESPN. At approximately 2 Eastern. Great cut and finish. Left-handed delivery from Cambridge.
That was beautiful offense. So well executed with that curl backdoor cut. You have to have a post player who can make the pass.
Chaos ensues. Kennedy Cambridge on the reverse. Here come the Buckeyes again. The lead suddenly at 9.
Here's that press really wreaking havoc. Taking advantage of maybe I'm a little upset over some things I've done defensively, and then turning that.
Another turnover, Cambridge ahead of the pack. Jelani with 8.
Got to think about a timeout right now if you're Howard. She's going to kind of wait. Ty Grace trusts her team to figure it out.
Press beater. And Hennigan swatted into the first row by Lemila.
Again, Ohio State heating up with these plays like this. Limelaw with a beautiful pass, bounce backdoor pass to Jelani Cambridge. I love how immediately Cambridge turned and gave her the points at her. I love it when kids, they just show their appreciation to who gave them that assist. That is great. That's being a great teammate.
Well, there's great chemistry in this Ohio State locker room when you talk to the players, as we did yesterday, and Kevin McGuff.
You know, one of the reasons why the chemistry, I believe this, they have 11 players on their roster. And that creates better chemistry when you're talking about playing time for kids, keeping players happy, because you've got to play. Everybody's going to get on the floor pretty much.
Touch pass and picked off out of bounds. It'll stay with the Buckeyes. Ohio State in the midst of an 8-0 run going back to the end of that first quarter.
I like how they moved the ball down the floor and just couldn't get the finish at the end, but they were making some really nice reads.
Coming out of the Big Ten Conference this season, a league that put 12 teams in the field. Ohio State's been tested. The non-conference schedule very difficult. Kennedy Cambridge looking for the foul, doesn't get it. Offensive rebound, no. Good defense inside by Howard.
Limelaw wanted the foul on her shot, but no call. Hey, I like it when the refs let him play. He can get physical down there, but not every shot is a foul.
Spoken like a true coach. Howard without a field goal the last 5.5 minutes. Off another turnover. Kennedy Cambridge, no. And Kylie Kitts was hammered on the stick back.
That's a really hard, Kennedy Cambridge, great job with the steal, but that's a really hard finish when you're going straight dead ahead at the basket to score right in front of it at full speed, because she was going about 100 miles an hour right there. But Kylie Kitts cleans it up and gets herself to the free throw line.
5 steals already for Ohio State. Howard with 4 straight turnovers, and Kitts at 79% will get one more. Foul was called on Jada Kendrick. That's her first, and the lead at 12.
Do you think people are watching Kylie Kitts play and think about Chloe Kitts? They
Absolutely.
look so much alike.
They really do. Of course, her older sister at South Carolina injured this season. Kendrick will walk it up. Will beat the pressure. Until now, the steal by Watson. The story in this first half for the Ohio State is this defense. It has been tenacious.
It is clicking right now, because that's exactly what you do on the trap in the corner of one side of the floor, and you run into the passing lane where that ball is coming out, and Ava Watson did a great job of reading that.
5 straight turnovers for the Bison. An 18-1 run for the Buckeyes.
Do you see, Roy, do you feel how this press can wear you down? It gets to you mentally. You start making those little bit of mistakes. You cannot afford to get caught in corners where you're very trappable.
To answer your question, yes. Cambridge is short, and Hennigan climbs in for the board. And we knew this coming in with the 2-2-1. Kevin McGuff told us yesterday it's important for us to stay in our routine. This team thrives off of that, and it's a factor in their practice sessions leading into this first game in Columbus. And Kitts on the pass from Cambridge. Jelani says, that was my bad.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with that leadership by Jelani Cambridge. She knew she made a bad pass to Kylie Kitts, but here's that trap, and Ava Watson running right into the passing lane. That's picture-perfect chaos right there. I know Kevin McGuff has to feel good about how this press is affecting Bison right now.
30-15, the 3 seed, leading 14 seed Howard. Buckeyes lost to UCLA, as we mentioned, in the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament after a couple of nice wins. Team that won 26 games, finished with 13 victories in Big Ten play. Howard in search of its first points of this second quarter. Thomas. And out of bounds, it'll stay on this end.
And just unfortunate. Jelani had that. It just slipped out of her hands and off her foot, it looked like.
You know, second-team All-American for number 22 for Ohio State, coming off a season in which he was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year.
her growth, Roy, from last year to this year is so noticeable to me. She is so much more mature and confident in her play, making really good decisions as the point guard. Boy, her future is incredibly bright. It's already bright right now.
Certainly. Spin and a foul. Edwards will shoot 2. We talked to Cambridge yesterday about, you played in this tournament last year. What did you learn from that experience? When the Buckeyes were eliminated by Tennessee in the second round, she said, leave it all on the floor because it's a one and done deal. We know, we understand how important it is to show up, show out, and play well from the jump. Very mature as a sophomore. Yeah,
very much. I mean, Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Now she's a second-team All-American this year. She could have very easily been a first-team All-American. Those awards are hard to come by. 23
points per game, 5.5 rebounds. Former McDonald's All-American. And she gets to play alongside in the starting 5 with her sister Kennedy.
Yeah, that's got to be special to be able to play with a sibling. No doubt about it.
Basketball family are the Cambridges. Kids top of the key. 32% from bonus land this year. And a big shot for the Buckeyes.
Let me tell you, bonus land is having a stretch 4 or 5. Kids can play the 4 or the 5. To be able to open up that interior for the likes of Jelani Cambridge to drive.
33-17. Thomas open for a moment. And tracked down by Watson.
I feel like Howard's panicking a little bit on the offensive end and taking some shots that aren't quite there.
High pass to Kitts. And Thomas with a box out. We had 5 ties and 5 lead changes in our first 10 minutes. And the Buckeyes currently in takeover mode.
Yeah.
And a foul as Cambridge able to sneak in.
Yeah.
Getting set for halftime. Shanae was just starting to rattle those off. And a great question. Ohio State, the pillar of consistency, especially in the regular season. But now, can Coach McGuff's team take that next step in the postseason this year?
That's right. And I know that probably weighs heavy on him, and to make sure they get that done this year. But hey, he's in a tough first and second round.
Fairfield and Notre Dame, the second game here in Columbus. And a turnover. Tiana Todd, the Boston College transfer, connects.
Okay, she gets her first NCAA tournament points. Happy for her. Senior year playing in the NCAA tournament for the first time.
There's a conversation in the locker room. Howard, meanwhile, almost a full 10 minutes in between field goals, but turnovers starting to mount for Howard.
This is what the Ohio State pressure does. And there really wasn't any pressure. That was an unforced one. But Todd gets the benefit of the layup on the other end.
It's got to be a meaningful day for Tiana Todd. 3 years at Boston College, incredible years individually, but not necessarily as a team. And now at Ohio State in the NCAA tournament, her senior year for the first time.
Yeah, she had a really good career at Boston College. I was at Georgia Tech, had to guard her. She was a really excellent three-point shooter. And that's not what she is being called upon to do here. But I know she'll knock it down if she gets that opportunity.
Just over 3 minutes remaining in our first half. Another turnover. The steal by Cambridge. Lays it in. Now in double figures. Jelani Cambridge with 10, 2 rebounds, and a couple of blocks and steals.
Yeah, when she steals, if you see the numbers on her back, you are not going to catch up and get in front of her. Stop that layup.
We asked her yesterday, where does the speed come from? And she looked at us and said, it's genetics. It's a basketball family, one of 7 brothers and sisters. She grew up thinking about playing on the hardwood for sure.
Yeah, Jelani with the turnover right here. Just the pressure that the offensive player feels. You can't help it. Hemingway was just bobbling the ball because she felt Jelani's pressure right there.
Coach, this is a 25-3 run for Ohio State.
Yeah, and this is where Ohio State has just really upped their defense. This is what they do. It starts with their press, they get confidence from it, and then their half-court defense comes along.
Cambridge surveys, the crossover, the step back, off the hesitation.
This is not even fair right there, Roy. That's a beautiful one-on-one move. Probably she's probably done that move 500,000 times in her lifetime.
Her third steal in the first half. Free throw line, yes. 14 on the board for number 22, Jelani Cambridge.
You're forced to call a timeout right there if you're Ty Grace, just to try to cool her down. But I'm not sure you can cool Jelani Cambridge down because she was born with basketball in her blood. We're going to get a couple more looks at this because this is a beautiful step back. Let me take you in and step you back. Beautiful and fully contested shot at that. But these are shots that Jelani Cambridge has taken over and over again. 96.
That's just one of 4 corners in the apartment.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Yeah. Well, I love it. That keeps a mind busy, that's for sure.
When's the last time you constructed a Lego set?
I can't even remember.
It's been a minute for me, too.
It's been a while. I've got a pair of Lego tennis shoes. There's some tennis shoes, some sneakers I have that are Legos. Now, I won't say the brand, but it is quite interesting.
Okay. And they're functional shoes that you can wear.
Functional, yes.
Buckeyes back to work, under 2 to go in the first half. They have dominated this second quarter. Bryn Martin inside to Kitts, an open look. Thomas defended well, and it bounces outside to Bynum Johnson.
Well, Ohio State missed 2 opportunities right there to score. Limela and then Kylie Kitts underneath.
Elbow jumper off the mark by Hennigan.
You know, there's no Cambridge on the floor right now. Makes the team look a little bit different, but not a chance. Gray off the bounce. Normally we see her knocking down threes, but she took it right to the rack.
She's got 8. 43-17. This game was once at 18-15 at the end of the first quarter. Buckeyes dominant in the paint so far. 22-4 advantage. That size advantage working to Ohio State's favor. Swatted out of bounds. Limela rejected Thomas.
Limela with a couple of these blocks today. She does a good job with her timing on this. Then foul goes up, gets it from behind a little bit.
First game of the day underway, day 2 of the women's NCAA tournament. 2 on the timer. Stewart. Under a minute to go.
I like the release on Stewart's shot. I thought that had an opportunity to go in.
Gray with the Euro, no, a 12-second differential between the clocks. Hennigan the other way, stop and pop. And a bucket for the Bison, 43-19.
Yeah, Hennigan, MEAC Rookie of the Year right there. Boy, it should be good for her to get going. Really nice shooter.
Second differential between game and shot clock. Gray launching another 3. Poked out to the Bison. One more chance. And out of bounds. Goes back to the Buckeyes with .5 on the clock.
You know, that turnover by Hemingway. She's trying to get down the floor to get that shot off. But I'm going to go back to how Ohio State has made Howard play. Because it sucked the confidence right out of the Howard Bison. They're going to have to find their way back to that confident team they were when this game started.
A couple of former teammates at Kentucky talking things over. Kennedy Cambridge and Sanaya Thomas to begin this second half. And Cambridge on cue with the mid-range. She's got 9.
Yeah, she's having a nice day today. Defensively, definitely gets her going. Here we go with another steal right here.
15 turnovers for Howard, equating to 18 Ohio State points and counting. Let tomorrow's opponent take notice of what this defense can do for the Buckeyes. Gray off the pump fake. And from 15 now. I mean, the potential is there tomorrow, and we'll see what happens between Fairfield and Notre Dame. It's our second game today, 2 o'clock tip over on ESPN. The potential is there for an incredible matchup. See if Howard can rally on the road. Trailing 45-19 first.
Yeah, we've seen 2 possessions now from Ohio State where Jelani Cambridge wasn't the one running the show, and there weren't good outcomes. She's got to get herself back up to the top of the key, get the ball in her hand, and run her team.
Zania Thomas, MEAC Player of the Year with 8. Cambridge, no top. Now it's Hennigan. And fouled by Cambridge. We mentioned our second matchup this afternoon, 2 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. The 6th seed Notre Dame out of the ACC, and the 11th seed, the MAC champions Fairfield Stags out of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Thomas again, this time short. Hennigan, and a foul with contact under the rim.
It's another foul on Jelani Cambridge right there. You know, this is a frustrating thing for a coach. I'm just speaking to you from a coach's perspective. You come out of halftime, you've got a nice lead, but you're starting out slow and really kind of just not locked in. So we've had 3 empty possessions, 2 fouls, and that's not how you want to start a second half.
Kevin McGuff would respectfully disagree with the call of the foul right under the rim, and he'll require a conversation. Been a well-officiated game so far today with our veteran crew with Lisa Jones, Felicity Willis, Kaz Beverly. The officials always have something nice to say to you, it seems like.
Always.
Maybe they're happy that you're not on the sidelines anymore.
Yeah, they're always happy to see me sitting over here, for sure. And I'm happy to see them over there.
That's correct. From one Cambridge to another, outside to Gray. That's been her spot.
That's what turns things around, is those made 3-pointers give a team a lot of confidence, but for Ohio State, it allows them to set their press.
Hennigan wanted a chance for 3, instead to the free throw line to shoot 2, and Chance Gray now with 3 triples on the game.
And she just makes it look so easy, but this is great. Inside out play, and this is what you want to do. Go get a paint touch, draw the defense, and kick it out to your 3-point shooter.
Chance Gray, the transfer from Oregon, over 1,500 points in her career. First of 2 for Hennigan. Honorable mention, all Big Ten performer was Gray, and part of that Big Ten all-tournament team.
Yep.
With that 23 put up against UCLA. You see 11 so far this afternoon.
Well, that had to be a great confidence booster for her, making the all-tournament team. I mean, that's a real honor, because look, the Big Ten tournament, there's a lot of great teams in that tournament. Big battles.
Cambridge behind the back, a little razzle-dazzle, but out of bounds.
You know, that looked razzle-dazzle, but I don't think it was razzle. That was a good pass. And I don't think Limula was ready for it. Wasn't expecting it.
I thought it was pretty spectacular.
It was. It looked spectacular.
But fundamentally sound.
Yes, it should have been called.
I like it. Thomas off the bounce, forces the contact, and a couple of free throws coming.
Getting a little sloppy defensively right now, but Howard is attacking Ohio State, so putting them in some really disadvantaged positions to try to guard the ball off the bounce.
Well, 2 shots for Zania Thomas. For spending 2 years at Kentucky. Health science major, started playing basketball at the age of 3. And when you look at what she has done this year, when you lead your league in points and rebounds, you're the player of the year, you're part of the all-defensive team. That's a season right there, Coach. That's a career for a lot of players that they could only dream of.
Well, what was impressive to me was Ty Grace telling us that she came to her after last season knowing she's a better player than a second-team All-MEAC player. I want to be player of the year. Put the work in the summertime and reap the rewards this year.
Thomas in double figures. Howard forcing the turnover, and they'll look to Ty Grace, MEAC Coach of the Year. The offensive set on this possession. A chance to cut it to 20.
Well, that was good defense by Jelani Cambridge right there, not letting.
And Thomas wants to take. Kylie Kitts called for the clear out. No. And the rebound ripped away by Niall Miller. So the jump ball stays with the Bison. 3 minutes into our 3rd quarter. It's a 3-point game at the end of the 1st quarter. Then the turnovers came And that Ohio State pressure in the second quarter. Buckeyes went on a 31-3 run. And Howard has sliced into that deficit to start the second half. Hennigan, no, and tracked down by Kennedy Cambridge.
I like how Hennigan's trying to really insert herself in this offense right there. Remember, she's MEAC Rookie of the Year. She's had a really good season. But it shows you the difference between the Jelani Cambridge and her. She can't get around Cambridge on the offensive end trying to get to the hole.
Now one of the best defensive players in America. Hennigan gets the steal on the other end. Good start by Howard here in our third quarter. Miller against Kitts. Bison only lost one game in the MEAC this year. Finished 13-1 in conference play. Miller against Kitts again, the pump fake. And a late whistle, a foul is called on Kitts.
It definitely was a late whistle, and I'm going to tell you as a coach, I can't stand late whistles. They are just really hard to accept, but it was a foul. But I don't know why the whistle wasn't blown right away, but she did. She got her.
Miller, a member of the MEAC all-defensive team, will get one more free throw. Her goal, coach, is to be the next Nell Fortner. She wants to be a broadcaster.
Well, good luck to her. I hope she attains her goal, because it's fun sitting over here.
We do have fun.
We do.
Last time I checked, they do pay us in this role. It is fantastic. Doesn't feel like work. Sometimes the travel, though, that's the job.
That's the job part.
Is that the job part? Yeah.
That's the job part.
Lead down to 21, the jump stop, and the pass. It's Watson. That's a three.
How about the vision right there by Jelani Cambridge? She had to shoot that ball on the other side of the floor, and Ava Watson knocks it down.
6 threes so far for Ohio State. Thomas picked up by Kitts. One-on-one again. And a foul called on the way up.
Yeah, we're going to get another look at Jelani Cambridge's vision. She's on the other side of the floor, downhill drive, but she knows Ava Watson is in that corner, and that's something that you teach. You coach this. Fill the corners. Always fill the corners when the ball is being driven to the basket. So she knew someone was going to be there.
Kevin McGuff just got teed up. His reaction to that foul, and I think those late whistles bothering him these last 3 times down the floor.
Well, the late whistles are bothering him, but his team's defense is bothering him also, so he might have gotten that technical to get his team woke up a little bit. Sometimes you have to do that as a coach. Yeah, I mean, you know, you don't want to. You hate to do it that way, but Ohio State not quite on point defensively in this third quarter.
Thomas at the line shooting 2. After the technical foul called on Ohio State head coach Kevin McGuff.
I don't think anything makes a fan base happier than when an opponent is shooting a technical free throw and they miss. Like, that's just the best thing ever.
So Thomas 1 of 2, and now Hennigan will shoot the 2 free throws associated with the shot.
Yep, he's getting on him. Kevin doesn't like exactly how this game is being called at this point in time. But I would imagine he's not totally happy about his team's defense.
Ariella Hennigan, the MEAC freshman of the year, after missing that second free throw, just went back to her team. She wasn't happy with herself, but a wry grin with the crowd reaction. A little gamesmanship happening between Howard and this Ohio State fan base. Off the miss, Cambridge. Full steam ahead, Euro. Up and in! Here comes Jelani Cambridge. A highlight reel finish finish right at the rack.
Okay, we're going to look at a big-time play right here because this is what's so important about this. She's coming full blast down the floor, but look how she slows her pace down so she's under control when she shoots the ball. Now, a lot of times we see players just keep going 100 miles an hour trying to finish, but she has the knowledge and the skill and the basketball IQ. I've got to slow down a little bit here so I can finish the shot.
I didn't know which hand she was going to end the shot with.
And it doesn't matter. She's gonna figure it out because she can use either one.
And that will happen. That decision comes in the air.
In the air, probably, yes.
Third foul on Niall Miller. 53-28, and the Buckeyes trying to regain control.
Well, I'm so impressed with how she controlled her body at that point in time, from coming from so fast in a full court sprint and being able to gather herself to finish that shot with a foul.
Full court pressure. The 2-2-1 is back. By the way, they were checking Kylie Kitts. She had a little blood on her after some contact inside, hence that brief delay. And Howard back to work. The MEAC champions won an NCAA tournament game just 4 years ago against Incarnate Word in the first four. Thomas went high off the glass. Miller collects and finishes.
Two Ohio State players knocked the ball out of each other's hands right there.
Cambridge again, inside out. How about the ball movement?
Yep, that could have gone one more pass that time.
Oh, Cambridge feeling it. No, it was blocked on the way up. Well, Miller was inside defending.
You got to have next play mentality. No foul was called. Ohio State players kind of stopped on the play, and then Howard was able to get down the floor. Luckily, they didn't score in transition.
Nick Hennigan actually stripped it on the way to the rim that time. Now it's Miller. Hennigan off the screen. Cambridge bothered that release. You think she'll build another one of those Lego sets tonight after this game to get ready for the next game in the second round if Ohio State holds on? Three-pointer, no. Kennedy Cambridge. One sister to the next via the rebound.
Good job going to the boards.
Stewart from 17. Well, the mid-range has been there for Zoe Stewart. She's got 6. Some time at Missouri State and Murray State in quarter. And the points off of turnovers, 15 leading to 18 Buckeye points.
I mean, it's impressive, though. It's how they can turn up the juice and really create offense for themselves from their defense. And we as coaches, we're always saying our offense comes from our defense. Ohio State can definitely say that.
Ohio State also shooting 51% from the floor. Inside to Kitts. And close up was fouled by Zoe Stewart. Lead at 24. And Kylie Kitts at the free throw line as we step aside.
Because they run this pretty efficiently at Ohio State, and the payoff is either 2 points or the free throw line.
Chances are this score holds second round Monday. That would be more of a mainstay against either Fairfield or Notre Dame.
I think so, because it's really hard to guard middle pick and rolls, especially when you've got some three-point shooters sprayed out around the perimeter. You just can't afford to help in.
2 free throws made by Kitts, the Florida transfer, part of the All Big Ten freshman team. Her first NCAA tournament appearance. Stewart outside, the corner 3 is short. That was Edwards off the mark. First tournament as well for Tiana Todd, who grabbed that rebound in the corner 3. Drilled by Martin.
You see Bryn Martin come off the bench and nail a 3, giving some rest to Jelani Cambridge right now. That was nice basketball. That's why you feel those corners. Those corner 3s are probably the best three-point shot areas on the floor.
Day 2 of the dance. All chalk advancing yesterday. What about on this Saturday? What upsets potentially could be out there? Pump fake by Thomas. She'll somehow get it back. And now the third time. Sandwich in between two defenders and kicked out of bounds. It'll stay with Howard.
You see Ohio State's Bryn Martin running the floor. Get down there to those corners. That's where you want to get in transition. Fill the corners. And it opens up those threes. It's hard for transition defense to fill out in the corners because they're normally more concerned with the rim.
Hennigan pulls the three. And says that's my bad. Ty Grace, the long stare afterwards. Didn't like the shot.
That's a shame that Howard couldn't get a payoff with some points on that possession because they had the offensive rebounds back-to-back and just could not get it to drop.
61-32. Buckeyes have made 5 of their last 7. Tiana Todd. She'll shoot a pair. Now the BC transfer, leading scorer with the Eagles last year in Chestnut Hill. Led the ACC, coach, he talked about it, in three-point percentage and top 5 nationally in that category. Now in the Big Ten this year, not as many clean looks, but has served a vital role for head coach Kevin McGuff.
Yeah, when you've only got 11 on your roster and you've got to have some really primary players that do certain roles. And Todd came in here. She could be a three-point shooter. She could be a little bit of a guard. She's a pretty versatile player. But I like that the opportunities that she's been able to have here.
If you're just tuning in, the second quarter creating the separation between these two programs. Nell Fortner, Roy Philpott, Howard winning the MEAC championship this season. Buckeyes now 5 straight campaigns with 25-plus wins. And the winner between Notre Dame and Fairfield awaits the winner of this first game in Columbus. An early start today, too. Ohio State perhaps a little nervous from the jump, but they have settled in quite nicely with that defense.
Yeah, once they settled in, then they were off to the races. That press kicked in, the chaos ensued, and all of a sudden there was a 15, 18-point separation pretty quick.
31-3 run was the strength of the Buckeyes there between the first and second quarters. Kennedy Cambridge tried to thread the needle, and the ball was kicked.
Well, that was a chancy pass now. She was counting on Ava Watson to be in turbo boost speed to meet her pass under the rim. They got a little lucky that it went out of bounds on Howard.
Miller with her 4th foul moments ago will get a breather. 30-point advantage for Ohio State. And Todd off the mark.
It looked good. At least she got a look at it. She's taken one. I bet she gets another look and knocks it down.
It was Rain Durant with the rebound. She tried to establish position in the low post. Can't do it. Thomas picked up by Todd, the spin, and a chance for 3. Now, Zania Thomas in her game, it has been fun to watch this year at Howard.
Yeah, really good footwork. This is being able to play off the bounce right here, and really good, just a good basketball move. Drop, step in, and just, yeah, Todd got her right there.
Now, Thomas certainly has fought back in her career, began at Kentucky, then transferred to Howard. And in between, there was a scare with a heart issue in the right valve. She had to have that surgically corrected, but for a time didn't know if she was going to be able to play basketball again. Great to see her out there, and great to see what she's been able to do for her head coach, Ty Grace. She thought about halfway through her senior season, this campaign, she would have a chance to win Player of the Year in the conference. The numbers were trending in that direction. And a strong finish. That's exactly what happened.
That had to be scary, having heart surgery, and really question whether you trust, can I really play a physical sport as basketball is?
Now, in between, she was simply walking around on campus and started to realize and understand, Zania Thomas, that she was getting out of breath going up hills and just doing simple tasks. And at that point, decided it needed to get checked out. And in November of 2024, surgery finally cleared. And has been very impressive ever since. Third-team all-conference last season and the player of the year in the MEAC this campaign. 1.3 seconds to go here in our third quarter. And they'll reset the clock to 2.2.
I'll tell you, the refs are on the clock.
And Todd fumbled it out of bounds, but had to deal with the officials there right beside her with Beverly.
That was a bit surprising.
I thought that ball was coming straight for us. Just ready for you to catch it.
Yeah.
I'm going to check out the reflexes. It was a fastball for sure. We're going to double check the clock. They'll do it in an efficient manner here, which everyone appreciates. 1.2. One more chance for Howard at the end of the third. Stewart comes up short. It would have been good if it went. It did not. And it is all Buckeyes. 30 minutes in here, game one in Columbus.
Tebow Dudonis at Fairfield. She does a great job with her team. She's bringing in the mid-major team here to compete against Notre Dame, who's really coming on strong at the end of this season. So it's going to be a really good game.
Ava Watson from downtown, 65-36. Fighting Irish, to your point, Coach, won 9 of their last 11. That road win at Louisville, final day of the regular season, seemed to be a nice barometer and a litmus test on the Fighting Irish's improvement this season. Zoe Stewart again, a step inside the three-point arc. We talked to Hannah Hidalgo yesterday, and dare I suggest they are properly motivated to make a run.
No doubt. Notre Dame, look, Hannah Hidalgo, I get fired up just thinking about her after talking to her yesterday. Look, again, tried to guard her for 3 years at Georgia Tech. We weren't always successful.
I was going to say, how did that go?
Yeah, she's good. She's really, really good. And in real time, she's really fast.
Stewart off the bounce, and Zoe Stewart with 10 points.
You feel a little bit of a spark here from Howard coming out of that to start this fourth quarter. They have a little juice in them right now.
Score holds, Ohio State would be in line to play the winner. Notre Dame and Fairfield. Lemilot no, and Thomas jump up for the rebound. 13 and 5 today for Zanaya Thomas, player of the year in the MEAC. Hennigan, and now Durant, blocked by Lemilot.
Lemilot's had a hard day offensively. It's been a struggle, 1 for 4, but she has 8 boards, and you still have to contribute. If the offensive end isn't working for you, you've got to be able to bring the defense.
One above her season average as the leading rebounder for the Buckeyes. Now Thomas picked up by Cambridge. Good matchup here. Spin in the finish. 15 on the board.
Good recognition that she had a little guard on her, so she goes to work. I like this Howard not laying down. They're finishing strong. They're still giving Ohio State everything they can right here.
Cambridge puts it up and comes up short. You mentioned Howard, their head coach, Ty Grace, 2-time MEAC Coach of the Year, and she's at 249 career victories coming into this game today. And great conversation would have been this system that feeds the talent that she recruits into the Power Conference arena. And she has adjusted to that role quite well. And she told us it is what it is. I want our players to do the best that they can for themselves and their families. And, you know, you look at, you have the MEAC Player of the Year again this season, and Ariella Hennigan. And there's going to be work to do in the offseason to make sure that this roster and its core returns next season.
I loved her perspective because, again, once again, she has that MEAC Rookie of the Year in Hennigan. And who knows, same thing could happen again. Looking at Jelani Cambridge, she wears those glasses, Roy, and when you get hit in the face, they're going to take a hit too. And looks like she's changing them out. She's got probably about 10 pair over there. What do you think?
Well, we asked her yesterday. I said, Jelani, how did the confidence increase when you put the glasses on for the first time? And she said, oh, I had it before I even made the decision. And she said she could see pretty well without them, but she realized that maybe it could help. And boy, hard foul by Hennigan right across the face. And she's fine. There's certainly grit and toughness when you're a player that runs the point at Ohio State and produces the way that she does. But the glasses have been a nice addition, and confidence was there before their arrival. It's her first year wearing the goggles. I guess technically they're not goggles, glasses they fit on, but you got the brace to make sure they don't fly off in game. And I'm sure, Coach, there was a nice NIL deal in play there as well as Zoe Stewart with a dozen.
And that's exactly how NIL is supposed to work. You know, so she got her a nice deal, whatever that was, but she's got some nice glasses for her to play in.
Great look and an open spot for Watson.
Yeah, those are really good looks. I like how the ball is moving for Ohio State, and that's where, you know, you got to be ready to catch and shoot. When that's your job, that's your role. Got to catch and shoot it. So Ava Watson's gotten some good looks today. She's knocked some of them down. That one didn't go.
Kevin McGuff told you yesterday, too, when we make the extra pass, that is when we are at our best, combined with the chaos of full court pressure, the 2-2-1. Stewart, a push off and an offensive foul.
You know, this is, we're going to get a better shot of it right here because, you know, there is a flopping rule that's in. And that's, I'm not an official, but every player is going to do their best to try to sell a foul like that.
Well, Ava Watson did a great job there.
I think she did.
Cambridge inside with 21. Well, she averages 22 per game as the second leading scorer in the Big Ten Conference this year. Now 20 games with 20 or more.
You know, the other thing that Lamiglia does for Ohio State is she's a good passer. So 3 assists, so that opportunity to cut off of your high post, your 6'6" post player, and she can deliver the ball is nice to have.
Hennigan was wrapped up, Mariah smile, and a foul was called on Cambridge. So Jelani picks up her 3rd personal. And 2 free throws coming for the MEAC Rookie of the Year as Perrin checks in for the first time.
I want to go back to Limonlov for just a minute. She's from Finland. I coached a player from Finland at Georgia Tech, Lodemar Lotman. They are gritty people as a whole. They are tough, gritty.
As a country, you're talking.
As a country. And I'm telling you, and I used to talk to Lodemar about it, like, why are y'all like that? She goes, that's just who we are as Finnish people. And I love that. And we've seen Limula today play almost the entire game. Hadn't had the best offensive game, but she's still playing. She's still in it, contributing, getting on the boards with 10 already, 10 today, assisting.
Cambridge had the ball on a string, a massive jump stop. Looking for the assist. Buckeyes get it back in a fresh 20. Here's Chance Gray, will go inside. Under 5 to play, game 1 in Columbus. Notre Dame in Fairfield 30 minutes after this game concludes. Sanaya Thomas. Limula bothered that shot and release.
She did. She had all 6'6" in the air right there. Thomas couldn't get over it.
And Cambridge again lost the glasses on the dribble drive. And a foul on Perrin. Now the NCAA women's tip Eastern time over on ESPN. Lower half of the bracket, Vanderbilt, High Point, Illinois, and more. Now Fortner, Roy Philpott. I mean, you had Madison Booker there.
Roy, when you see all those #1 seeds, forget it. I just like wanting to jump out of my seat right here. Some of the best women's basketball players we've ever had at one point in time in the history of our game. They're all over the place. This is awesome. I can't wait to watch all these games.
I was going Lauren Betts. I was going Sarah. I was going through the whole list there. You were so excited I couldn't get through it.
Sorry I cut you off, but this is a huge moment in the women's game where players are spread all over the country. Really, really excellent players all over the place, just rising, just elevating our game to another level. That just every game is so meaningful in this tournament. It just makes it so much more powerful and fun to watch. But those were some superstars in that graphic, just superstars.
72-45, 4 minutes ago, Buckeyes in firm control where they have been since we were 10 minutes into this game. Our first in Columbus. And speaking of superstars, that Notre Dame Fairfield matchup, Katie Lamro, one of the top three-point shooters we're going to see here this weekend. Fairfield, the top three-point shooting team in the country at over 11 makes per game. And then that goes against the defense of Hannah Hidalgo, who all she does is average 5 steals per contest. The ACC Player of the Year and the ACC Defensive Player of the Year, not once, but twice each of the last 2 seasons.
Just fantastic player. Just so much fun to watch. And I can't wait to talk about her as we watch that game. But it's not only Hidalgo. Wait until they see Katie Lamro play from Fairfield. She is a gritty player. She's a coach's dream. Carly Tebow has done a great job developing her into a player that just creates havoc on the floor.
Miller, the up and under, and Hennigan. Mariella Hennigan, a season high and a career high now with 10 rebounds, has secured a double-double today for the freshman.
Yeah, for the freshman. And that's, if we see her playing for Howard next year, good for Ty Grace. But again, that was that conversation yesterday about, you know, in this world of the transfer portal and NIL, you know, the chances that the mid-major players seem to leave and go play at a little bit higher level. But hopefully she stays for Ty Grace.
She's got 12. The Euro make it 14.
And she's starting to feel it right now, showing us what she's really capable of.
Coach, really the difference in this game, that 31-3 run. Howard started well, is trying to finish strong. We've seen that in stretches in this second half.
Look, I love it. They're playing hard. They're doing all they can to just continue to put points on the board, shorten the discrepancy between the points.
Deanna Todd, out of bounds. Just over 2 minutes remaining. And Kevin McGuff's going to go a little further into his bench. Burek checks in for the first time, and Henry as well for Ohio State. Hannigan cuts inside, throws it out to Stewart. Howard in search of its first made triple in this game. Miller, no. And the rebound corral drifting backwards for Bryn Martin. Ohio State trying to advance to the Sweet 16 for the first time in 3 years. One step closer with this victory in hand today. Now it's Martin. Hobbs. And the three-pointer off the mark by Henry.
I think Miller got a little piece of that on the release, it looked like.
Just under 90 seconds remaining. Marino will check back in for the Bison. And the starters now on the bench for head coach Ty Grace. Well, certainly an emotional moment playing final time for Zaniah Thomas. Job that she's done.
That's one of the toughest things about the NCAA tournament. And when you lose out, you've got seniors who now that's their last game, and you hate to see them go out that way. But at least they were in the NCAA tournament.
As a coach, in between the first and second rounds, what is it like as you prepare to get ready for the next round?
Well, I tell you, you've got to think about rest for your starters, even though so there's a lot of scouting that happens, and you don't go as hard in your practice to prepare, but you're definitely preparing. But it's a challenge when you have the short turnaround.
Coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. For tournament game times and networks, go to NCAA.com. NCAA.com. Under a minute to go. The Buckeyes awfully impressive today, as expected. The 3 seed and host school here in Columbus. Henry's going to shoot 2.
You know, during the season, Roy, coaches try to schedule tournaments where you have to challenge your team, and tournaments when you play them are usually back-to-back games. So you kind of treat it like an NCAA tournament, even though you don't have that rest day, but it challenges your teams to lock in and have to play hard one day. You rest, you get something to eat, you got to scout the next morning, play that game that day. You try to use it as NCAA kind of tournament thing. At least you have a day in between these games to scout and rest and prepare. It's a challenge because the stakes are high, you know, and you've got to be on point, and you have to have that scout ready and on point so you're not wasting any time, because players' minds can wander.
Kendrick inside, her first basket. Buckeyes have had 9 different players score in this first-round victory over Howard. Ohio State will improve to 5-0 all-time against the Bison, the MEAC champions, and a great year for Howard. Let us make sure that we remind our viewers of that. Just 1 loss in conference play, and they found a way to make it here to Columbus. In that first quarter, the first 10 minutes, a 1-possession game at the very end for the pressure and the athleticism of Ohio State took over. Kendrick back-to-back buckets.
Yeah, I was really impressed how they came out and started the game. And they played with a lot of pride and represented Howard extremely well.
Buckeyes get it done. Our final score, 75-54. And awaiting the winner of Fairfield and Notre Dame.